It's going to be something we talk about all offseason long. Jalen Henderson, Nico Marchiol, who should be the starter. And I spoke to a lot of players today. They've got messages for the fans. You don't want to miss that either. Stick around, guys. This is Locked On West Virginia.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys for joining in as we dive into another episode talking about West Virginia football. There's a lot to get into, man. Certainly, I think this is one of the more interesting, I guess you could say, talks that we could have as far as West Virginia football goes, and it is the debate concerning Jalen Henderson and Nico Marchiol. Now, look, I get it. A lot of people love Nico. I love Nico, too. I've said it multiple times. I think it's best for West Virginia if he wins the job and plays well. I think that. Actually, I know that. But he's got a guy that's going to come in there, and he's a contender for the starting job in Jalen Henderson. He's 6'3", he's 230. He's played and he started games in the SEC, certainly, and played well at times. 715 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks in 2023. Can run the heck out of the ball. Staying healthy has been an issue for him. Consistency's been a little bit of an issue for him. He was in a quarterback room with Marcel Reed, Connor Weidman, Dylan Mayers, Paxton Land, Peyton Gay, Blake Boast, all top 150 guys. And he rose to the top of that room. Transferring up from Fresno, which was an interesting transfer because he didn't play much there. But I think they saw something in him. He goes to College Station and plays really well before the injury. And what I like about his game that makes him interesting as a starter, not saying that, I go back and forth on this one because I think you can make the case for both. So Jalen obviously has the edge in quickness. He has the edge in side-to-side movement, juking, whatever you want to call it. Nico's more of a straight-ahead runner. He's not going to do a lot of dancing around. Jalen's definitely a lot closer to what Pat White looked like as a runner. Certainly not as dynamic, at least from my eye. But I think where he has an edge is as a thrower. He's just a little bit more polished at this point in time. Now, Nico could come into this season and have fixed a lot. And I also had to put some emphasis on quarterbacks only regressed under Neil Brown. That's just a fact. I know some people don't want to hear that either because Neil was good to them. Well, that's fair. But, Country Roads Webcast did an awesome episode about this where he talked about it. Every single quarterback under Neil Brown regressed at some point in time, whether it was Seth Daggy, whether it was Garrett Green, which is a great example because of the 2023 season he had, and then the 2024 season he just had. It's pretty much, it's right there in front of our faces. They just continued to regress under Neil Brown. He would not do things like, look what Chad Scott did with Garrett Green in the final game of his career against an 11-win Memphis team. It's really shocking when you look at it. I was looking at this game again the other day, just trying to put the pieces together. Like, how did this happen? How does Garrett Green, a guy who had basically never, done something like this dynamic in his career against what I would consider some of his best competition in Memphis? I mean, sure, they're Group of 5. But they could play with any Power 5 team. They won 11 games. That's impressive. Garrett Green had 330 yards, 29 of 40, 330 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, and 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Almost 500 total yards in that game. And he never did that under. When did he do that under Neil Brown? Can somebody name a game? I'm sure there might be one out there that he had really big game. A couple of, I think against Baylor, he had a pretty big game last year. But in 2024 under Neil Brown is what I'm talking about. What game did he have in 2024 that mimicked what he did against Memphis? Chad Scott got it. He flourishes, and we saw it time and time again in the 2-minute drill in a what Rich Rod does in a hurry-up offense. Garrett Green wasn't the type of quarterback that's methodical like an NFL player. Neil Brown was trying to protect our defense, but by doing so, he hurt Garrett Green and kind of took away a lot of what makes him really dynamic. And so when I say that, I use that too because I'm not really sure that Nico has been being coached right this whole time. I'm 100% sure. The quarterbacks didn't get a lot of TLC when Neil Brown was in Morgantown. Other position groups did. Sure, they did. I can admit that. But not quarterbacks. As a matter of fact, they may have been the least taught group. Who was the quarterback aficionado on this team anyway, really? I mean, we had guys that claimed to be. Graham Harrell was probably a good one, but he was only here for 1 year, just as a sheer quarterbacks coach. He refused to bring anybody from the outside in. Probably could have got Pat White at some point in time. Probably could have got Clint Trickett back at some point in time or Travis Trickett. Anybody that can coach quarterbacks. And unfortunately, Neil just didn't get it when it came to Garrett Green. And so I don't want to judge Nico too harshly coming into this because he could be unleashed this year under Rich Rodriguez, who has developed multiple quarterbacks into really good players. Look at Tyler Huff last year, a guy that's not an elite athlete. He's a good athlete, about like Nico. He's a good thrower of the football. Nico is probably just as good, if not better. Like they're very similar players. And then Jalen Henderson's closer to the Khalil Tates, the Pat Whites of the world that he's had in the past. So you've got these contrasting styles in a lot of ways. Nico is – I'm not really sure what he is as a thrower yet just because we haven't seen a lot of it yet. But at times, Nico throws an incredibly pretty ball to where I'm like, okay, he's got an NFL arm. And then other times it's like, where did that come from? He doesn't rotate his hips a lot. He stays on the back foot a lot, if you'll notice that. And, I would love to see him step through balls more as he throws them. If you'll notice, Nico's left foot is always kind of lofted. It's kind of always behind a little bit. Anyway, so Jalen Henderson he's got arm talent. I mean, when you look at him, he whips the ball around the field. He throws it well. And 6 picks, 6 touchdowns to 2 picks was pretty good. So, look, I think what people will say about Nico is he's undefeated as a starter. He is. He is undefeated as a starter, but that's across multiple seasons, and I just don't think it's as valid. It's valid. It's just not – I don't think it plays into this competition a lot because these guys have both won games. These guys have both performed pretty well. Neither one of them have a lot of experience. And so to me, it's like either way, you're kind of going to go with a bit of an unproven option, right? So I look at that and say, you got to go with the guy that is most dynamic. And that's why I think I go back and forth on this every day. Today, I feel like Jalen Henderson has an edge. Tomorrow, I might feel like Nico has an edge. I just keep coming back to Jalen Henderson on some of this because of how he's a little bit more like what we've had in the past. But what's really going to tell the tale is when we get into camp and Rich Rod and we're getting feedback from the coaches on how these guys are performing. We're not going to be told a starter for a long time, I imagine. But we're going to get feedback, and I know players, right? Like I know a dozen players that I can talk to. I don't know how many will tell me, but I could ask. So I'm kind of excited to see where this competition goes, who wins it, and whoever does is going to be in incredible shape and has won a trial by fire. I also don't want to count 100% out Max Brown Some people may laugh at that, but if you look at what go look at Max Brown on his X page. Let me see if I can pull it up right here on my phone while you guys are listening, and just let's see, Max Brown, because he's got some crazy. Okay, for those of you listening on podcasts, you're not going to see this. That's fine. I just want to show a couple of people watching at home with my phone. He does these trick shots, and he has got an absolute cannon for an arm. I'm serious, guys. Watch these throws. Side-armed, off balance, incredible throws. Look at that throw. Look at these throws. Look at the footwork. Look at the arm talent. If you're telling me this guy doesn't have a shot in the competition, I don't agree. I think he does have a shot. Look at these. I mean, like I said, go check out Max Brown on his X page and tell me he don't have a shot. I'm just saying he's got a shot. He played at Florida. He hasn't played well mentally on the mental side of the game, but man, does he have some arm talent. And I don't know if he's ready or anything like that. I'm just saying, I'm not saying he's in the same league as the other two. I'm saying don't count him out, because I see a lot of ability there. And that's not the only tape I've watched. Like, actually, I think it was Coos that put me onto it, but somebody told me there's a guy that broke some film down from Charlotte, the 49ers. There's a guy that broke some film down, and I checked it out, and he breaks Max Brown down, and some of the great throws he makes. I'm telling you guys, Max Brown can sling the heck out of that football, and he ran for 1,300 yards in high school. He can run around. Don't count Max Brown out, even though I do have him slotted in a third spot. I just don't think he came in to be that. I think he was told he could compete. I haven't verified that yet, but I'm trying, which, by the way, up next, I spoke to a lot of players today. I got a lot of great feedback from one of the leaders of the defense, some of the guys on offense, Will Reed. I've got messages for you from them, and you don't want to miss what they are. Stick around, guys. We'll talk about it next, right here on Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is brought to you by TalkSpace. Therapy is a game changer. It can help manage stress, improve sleep, and communicate more effectively. But finding the right therapist and fitting sessions into a busy schedule can be a challenge. That's where TalkSpace comes in. TalkSpace is the leading virtual therapy provider, and it makes getting the help you need easy, accessible, and affordable. TalkSpace signing up is very simple. You can match with a licensed therapist who fits your needs, usually within 48 hours, and it's convenient. You can have sessions from the comfort of your home and even message your therapist between appointments. Plus, TalkSpace is covered by many insurance plans, and for most insured members, there's a $0 copay, and it's never been easier to prioritize your mental health. As a listener to this podcast, Locked On West Virginia, you'll get $80 off your first month with TalkSpace when you go to TalkSpace.com/LockedOnCollege and enter the promo code SPACE80. TalkSpace is an awesome website, and you can match with a licensed therapist today. Go to TalkSpace.com/LockedOnCollege and enter code SPACE80 to get $80 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's TalkSpace.com/LockedOnCollege and promo code SPACE80. And we are back here on Locked On West Virginia, talking players, man. You know, I decided today I wanted to kind of get into the depth chart a little bit, and then I thought, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet. And I thought, you know what would be cool? How about I just interview a few players? And I was lucky enough to speak with Chase Wilson on the phone for a while, about 30 minutes today. We got a leader in the linebacker room, guys. I'm telling you that right now. Like, I've got a bunch of Post-it notes of stuff that he said, and also others in my inbox over here on X. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a few things that I was told by the players. Let's start with wide receiver Size Traw, who, man, look, there's something hilarious that I don't know if you'll want me to show right now, but I got to tell you guys, if you look up Cyrus Traugh, Traugh on YouTube, there's a video of him when he was 5 years old singing "Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine." Let's segment 2. Let's crack a do. I see you guys reminding me. And it's so funny. He's got that red hair, just like it is now. That big red hair. So go check Cyrus Trout on YouTube after this video singing on Clementine. It's so funny. I messaged it to him and he was like, "Oh my God, that's my sister." So here are the questions that I asked him. I said, "Did you have anybody else involved with your recruiting process and other teams?" I said, "How awesome is it to come home to West Virginia?" And then I said, "Dude, you're an elite route runner. Where does that come from? And will you be in the slot or outside here?" Okay, so here are his answers to those questions. To the question, did you have anybody else involved in your recruiting? Yes, Stanford, Temple, Marshall, Liberty, Texas State, NIU, Arkansas State, Iowa State, and others. And he left out some other main ones. And then to the number 2 question, hey, look, is this awesome to come home? He said, "This is the dream. It's the only football team I knew of for a while as a kid, but as a West Virginia kid, it means that much more to me." And we know it does. About the route running ability, he said, "It comes with practice, trusting your instincts, but you need to do it. You need to create those instincts by doing it over and over, and I can play outside or in the slot," which, by the way, very, very popular YouTuber Destroying, who has millions and millions of subscribers. Cyrus Trout went on there and beat people on his show. If you don't know what he does, he goes to different high schools, colleges, and people just line up and run routes against each other. Cyrus Trout went on there and dunked on everybody. Number 4, this is a message from Cyrus to us, the fans. He said, "Thank you guys for the support. I've been a West Virginia fan, so I know even the negativity comes from the love of the program. And for the young fans, I want to show them it's possible to compete at the highest collegiate level coming from West Virginia. And I will be ready when I get that opportunity." Thank you, Cyrus, for reaching back out and for these, awesome words, man. It means a lot to hear those. And I've been a big fan of his from the beginning, as you guys know. So I got a couple people that I'm waiting to hear from. Ty Edwards messaged back, but he hasn't responded to my questions yet. But I do have Jacob J.B. Barrick, another big-time guy to come in, right? So I asked him 3 questions. Can you explain what the practices are going to be like with Rich Rod? What are your personal expectations for the season? And are teams involved, other teams involved during the process, or were you coming here and that was that? He said, "We're going to get that work in and get out, recover, and do it again. My goals are to win a conference championship and produce this fall." After hearing the news, I knew I wanted to come up here, and I'm grateful for the opportunity Rich Rod has given me. So those were his responses to that. What about from, I love this from let me find it again. Where'd it go here? So these are some people have messaged me in between, and some of these are a little bit off. How about Jared Bowie, another West Virginia native and Jack State player, as a matter of fact? I said, "What other teams were involved, and were you coming here the entire time? What can the team expect from Coach Rod, and are the practices crazy as they say, and what are your expectations for yourself?" He said, "I had a couple of other schools reaching out, like Marshall, James Madison, Indiana. Other schools were interested as well, but probably kind of figured I was coming here, and I made my decision quick because this is home. Going to be the most physical, the fastest, and best condition in all of college football, and as a whole, it's a hard-edge earned success. And he wants to make this one of the best ever seasons, and so he's just locked in. Can't wait to get these pads on and win a lot of games this year. Going to be living in that end zone," he said. Love the confidence from Jared Bowie. We've got Tykees Crawford hasn't responded yet. Michael Coach Jr., lockdown receiver or lockdown corner. And to be honest, could be our number one rated player outside of Jamori, I guess. I mean, he might even outdo Jamori this year. Who knows? All right. So we kind of message back and forth. All right. So let's start right here. I said, I'm going to do a video on you today. I want to ask you a question, man. I said, did they pay you not to go to Ole Miss? That's legendary status. I had like 50 questions about this when I did my mailbag. And like everybody wanted to know if he was paid to go to not to go to Ole Miss, because if you guys don't know the story, Michael Coach Jr. was basically here on a visit and supposed to go to Ole Miss, and the legend is West Virginia paid him not to take that visit. And I'm going to leave that legend out there. We're not going to talk about what he told me because I think it's better that way. So let's leave the legend as it is for now. And here's what he said about West Virginia. It was just the best opportunity for me to come in and play. And I had guys who played at Nevada who told me nothing but great things about Morgantown. And so when I saw it, I knew I wanted to play here. Message to the fans from Michael Coach Jr. If you've got a dream, don't think it's too late to chase it, because I didn't even play football in high school and was a walk-on at JUCO, and now I'm here. Just keep pushing and never give up. And now I'm here in Morgantown. It's beyond belief, man. Ready to work and be the best player I can be for the organization. Do you guys know how amazing that is? This is a truly unique situation. I didn't know that till today. He didn't even play high school football. And here he was, one of the best corners in the cycle. Does that not blow your mind? This guy didn't play high school football, and he's the best corner on our roster on paper. That blows me away. Congratulations to Michael Coach Jr. for seeing the dream and just kind of jumping into 2 feet first, man. That's very unusual and very unlikely to happen. I'm just shocked that he didn't play high school football, walked on at JUCO, and has now become one of the best players in the cycle. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. As far as to people saying drinking the Kool-Aid, that was under Neil Brown. Like they continually let us down year after year. This is a new coaching staff that delivers on players and has for years. So it's two different things, and I'm going to take them at their word, man. What they did last year speaks for itself. They got a bunch of D2 guys, turn them into All-Americans at Jack State. They developed high school players at Jack State. They've done it for years. They did it here before. Zach Alley comes in from Oklahoma and has one of the best schemes in the sport. So I think, there's a lot to believe in. Up next on Locked On West Virginia, you don't want to miss my final interview with Chase Wilson, who will be the probably the leader of the defense next year. It was an awesome interview, and I am so impressed with this guy. Stick around to hear that, guys. This is Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia, in part brought to you by GameTime. Attending NFL playoff games and an experience like no other. The energy, excitement, and connection with other fans is unmatched. I remember the thrill of seeing my favorite team clinch a playoff win live. It's a memory I'll never forget in Pittsburgh. This year, GameTime makes it even easier to create those unforgettable moments with their new feature, GameTime Picks. It filters out the fluff and shows you only incredible deals, the best deals on great seats, so you can focus on what matters, and that's being there. I used GameTime Picks to grab tickets for an upcoming playoff game, and it couldn't have been easier. I found a super deal that gave me incredible value for amazing seats, and I could even preview the view spot before buying. The all-in pricing is a game changer, no surprise fees at checkout. Plus, knowing my tickets are backed by a GameTime guarantee gave me complete peace of mind, making it one of the most flexible customer service ticketing policies in the ticketing industry. Curated deals make it easier to find the best price on great seats. They have event cancellation protection, job loss protection, etc. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, Create an account and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off, and download the GameTime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed, and ask yourself the question of questions. What time is it? It's game time. All right, we are back. So Chase Wilson, Colorado State linebacker, he was fifth on my list of biggest transfer pulls. Or no, he was third. I'm sorry. Third on my biggest list of transfer pulls behind Coates and Jamori. I do believe he will have an impact on this roster. He's a guy that he's got hundreds of tackles in his career, several interceptions in his career, and has made huge impacts wherever he goes. So he actually called me on the phone, and we talked for a while and had a great conversation. Him and Reed Carrico are watching film together every single day and are really getting along. He moved in 5 days ago, and he just had a small procedure done, so he's just resting at home. He'll be ready for the season. No big deal. He said West Virginia is getting a natural leader, but he knows he must earn his spot first. He's not rushing things. Because I asked him, I said, man, you're an incredible leader. If you go watch his Colorado State stuff, it's good stuff, man. Like, he's got incredible leadership skills on his X page. He's got like some videos where they like had him mic'd up, different stuff like that. He's an incredible leader, and he is that dude, man. He's going to play the Mike/Will because they do rotate both. And obviously you've got Jamori will play bandit, stuff like that. So that's going to be the position he plays on defense. He will be calling the plays most likely. Oh, and this is an elite recruiting pitch. I was so happy to hear this. So here's how they pulled him. And look, they got him over a lot of teams. They got him over Rutgers, USC, Iowa State, Colorado, and more. Like, everybody in the country wanted this guy at linebacker. I don't think people realize how big of a get he was for us. He had Iowa State, Nebraska, Colorado, USC, Rutgers all wanted him to lead them on defense. And he chose us because of this recruiting pitch. Zach Alley said, "You're my Danny Stutzman." That floored me when he told me that, because what an elite recruiting pitch you can tell a linebacker. Danny Stutzman, arguably the most important player to a defense in the country than he was to Oklahoma when he was at Oklahoma, and truly one of the most impressive linebackers in the country when I saw it. Like, even a couple years ago when he was there, he was that guy. And Chase Wilson is being brought in to be our Danny Stutzman. That's an elite, to me, that's an elite recruiting pitch. You say, look, like last year, you could say, look, you're going to play that Beanie Bishop spot. Well, now this year, you can say, look, you're going to play that Stutzman spot. Or you tell Jamori Robinson, you're going to play this whoever spot that was a great pass rusher in Oklahoma. So I didn't think of it that way, but that's a great way to recruit. Like, I mean, no offense to us, but like Oklahoma has a little better ring to it too nationally. So you can say like, any good player they've had. I had this guy go to the NFL from this defense from Oklahoma, and I want you to be that spot. Great stuff. He said you are getting a tough, hard-nosed, hard-working linebacker that loves to get stuff done. Oh, that's a promo code from 5 Hour Energy. I guess I picked it up with the other ones. And he said, but you're getting a hard-nosed linebacker. And he said he said he sees and realizes the elite fan base that we are. He feels the energy. Like he gets it. Like, coming from Fort Collins at Colorado State to here in Morgantown, which he loves it, by the way, because I've heard Fort Collins is a really great spot, right? And he said, no, look, Morgantown's got that juice. So I was like, hey, have you been to Tutors yet? So I had to put him on the Tutors. So Chase Wilson, we're going to need an update from him on Tutors. And he has, I don't know, I didn't ask him about pepperoni roll yet. I forgot to do that. But yeah, so I had to put Chase Wilson on the tutors. He will be heading there to tutors. But as far as talking with him, extremely personable, extremely smart. You can tell he's very, very good at communicating. And he's a guy that, I mean, let's just look at it really quick. Chase Wilson, Colorado State. And I get it. We're going to have misses, guys. I totally understand that. Not every one of these players are going to be impact players. My job, though, as your friendly neighborhood West Virginia fan, is to kind of give you a positive spin on them when I can, but understand that I will bring the negative too if I have to. I don't think there's – and people know that. For those of you that have been watching me for years now, know I got crushed for wanting JT Daniels benched a few years ago. I was the first person publicly on that. I wanted him benched after Virginia Tech after we played well, and people came on to me because the PFF numbers were so bad. Even though, like, we won the game and he had decent numbers, PFF numbers were so bad. And it was just like, God, man, the potential for negative plays that he had just wasn't – he was lucky. He was getting by with stuff, and PFF still grades you. Like, if you should have threw a pick and they dropped it, they still grade it like it was a pick. And he was just – I could see it was just – and Neil Brown, never good with quarterbacks, so it's no surprise. So, okay, Chase Wilson, 6'1", 230 pounds, 6'2". I think he's probably more closer to 6'2", from what I gather. So, okay, let me get out of this one. This one's not a good one. Let's go to the ESPN one here. There we go. All right, so last year he had 98 total tackles, but he got injured. So that's unfortunate. He didn't play in all the games. 2023, he had just an incredible year with 107 tackles, 4 sacks, fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, 3 passes defended. So this is a guy, man, that you look at and say he's really good in coverage. Like, this is not, no offense to Ben Cutter, who is like a big time downhill hitter. This guy is better. He's a better coverage linebacker. So I think it's going to be nice to have him in town for that. So it's going to be good, man. Him and Carrico together with Cutter and some other guys. I think we're going to be fine at linebacker. And Chase was a pleasure to talk to. Like I said, man, I really enjoyed our conversation. And I mean, he's made a fan out of me, which, I mean, go figure, right? I think there was another one. Let me make sure that I haven't. Oh, William Reed. I forgot, guys. William Reed. Let's update his first before we get off here. So William Reed, my phone's ringing. The West Virginia big right tackle just transferred in a couple days ago from Princeton. We all wanted him for weeks. He finally came. So I asked him 3 questions because we've talked so much. It's like I was running out of questions. Biggest area of improvement you need is Ivy League FCS or level below. And I know it's FCS. And he said, what are your personal goals this season? He said, looking forward to improving on my strength and pass set angles. Yes, it's FCS and just got approved to participate in the FCS playoffs. 3, his personal goals are to start, to help West Virginia win games, get to the playoffs / a bowl game, and hopefully earn some all Big 12 honors. Really, really good goals, William, and I think he's going to do it. I do. I think he's going to do it. He's just terrific. Also, I spoke with what would be considered a splash in the portal today that West Virginia is involved with. If this continues to go further, I'll bet you guys in my Discord. You guys know where that is. If you don't, ask around. My Discord is where I drop nuggets every now and then. I drop hints for free for now. That will become paid before too long. But I reached out to I got word that we reached out to a big time portal target that is just going to the portal today. So this would be huge get for us, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can make it happen. don't want to give too much else away until I get more info, but there is a shot there at this point in time. Also, there's another silent commit that we have still. I've been talking about him for weeks. He is expecting to graduate tomorrow or the next day, and we should be able to hear about his commitment thereafter. So, I think that's something that's going to be super interesting to see too, because I think, he's a guy that can help us a lot too. The Discord will be turning into, it will be free in one. Yes, I'll be making another Discord on that same Discord. You can make different rooms. And those that, so what I did was, is I wanted to prove myself to those that are in there. And over the last month, I put a lot of stuff and made a lot of predictions that were right in there. So, because I only made sure that I put the stuff in there that I was sure about. People knew about Will Reed well before they knew about Jamori. They knew about a lot of stuff. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to prove myself. And look, there are a lot of people that have intel out there, not just me, but I'm just doing my own thing, in my Discord here. So if you want to be a part of that, come on in. You can stay in the free version. But what I'll be doing here from now on, I'll drop some free stuff in there every now and again, but I will be teasing from one end to the other. So like I'll say, hey, if you want to know who's going to be committing to West Virginia, you got to come into this one, right? That's just like smart in business, right? So trying to give another extra revenue stream for myself because, if you're going to make this your full-time job, you got to make it the best you can for yourself. And that's what I'm trying to do. I work really hard. I spend 7 days a week doing this here. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. It's only going to be like $5-6, by the way. It's not a lot at all. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you for joining. If you want to join my Discord, come follow me on X at Paul Mountaineer. That's at Paul Mountaineer on X. Send me a message or just at me, send me a tweet, and I'll respond to you. My Discord links in the comments or something, and I'll see you there. If you're watching me on X, you already know where I'm at. I think that's it. Let's just recap really quick. We talked about Nico in the portal. We talked about Nico versus Jalen Henderson and that quarterback battle and how interesting that's going to be. And I think that they're both can help us. We talked a little bit about Max Brown too, how maybe he could factor in. I mean, he's extremely talented. And then we kind of went over through these player interviews and stuff and talked about a lot of these guys that have reached out to me today with different things they want you guys to hear. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I'll give you guys the rest. There should be Ty Edwards and some other guys. Who else was on there? Ty Edwards, Braden Siders, the Wyoming defensive end. Oh, there's Ty Edwards right there. I'll go ahead and give you Ty Edwards today since it came in right as we're getting off stream. Do you guys want Ty Edwards? The running back out of Northern Iowa, 6'4", 230 pounds. Just a monster running back. Let's talk about him really quick before we get off here. So I said, what did they tell you about the offense and your role in it, and what is your 40 time? Have you watched C.J. Donaldson and what he did here and how you're similar backs? Penning and Jaheim White, and have you got to speak with him yet? I said, Chad Scott is one of, if not the best running back coaches in the country. What's dealing with him being like? And then a message for the fans. He said, they told me that the offense will be go, fast tempo. The school I came from on offense will have at the most 57 offensive plays, and the head coach, I think, averages 90 plays a game here. So that's more plays to go around. Both from Florida and both 6'2", 240. That's the only way we are similar. I've seen his highlights, and I've seen what God had planned for me in this upcoming season in the Big 12. Another Florida guy, really down to earth person. This Coach Chad Scott. He means business, and I rock with Coach. He's cool. And in all caps, he said, get ready. That's what he said to tell you guys. He said, get ready. I like it. There was one more that said that too, and I can't find him. Another player said, we're coming, but I can't figure out which one it is at this moment. So hope you guys enjoyed these interviews, and I'll try to give you guys some more tomorrow when the rest of the guys respond if they do. Other than that, not a lot else to say. I'll see you tomorrow. We got Kansas State, I'll be bringing John Kurtz on probably. I haven't talked to him yet, but I assume he'll come on. If not, I'll get somebody else. So join me for that. I'll try to do that tomorrow before we play K-State. All right, guys, hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you haven't liked it yet. What are you doing? Move your thumb, move your clicker. Help me out. Keep the lights on for me, and I'll see you next time. Let's crack a do together next time right here in Locked On West Virginia. I'm out of here.